I miss fun. Apart from JoJo's, animated age just doesn't measure up. I'm not talking in apocalyptic terms, but I want something balls to the walls and insane, like I did at one point with a certain studio. Nowadays, anime is just kind of standard, with mostly crappy light novel adaptations, and even when it's kind of insane, it's not as good as it used to be. Okay, to be fair though, Little Witch Academia and Space Patrol Luluco were fairly solid, and I'll probably talk about them at some point, but I think you get my point. I should probably just build a time machine to go back to the past. Fortunately, I have the internet. Oh yeah, I love this show! Between 1995 and 2007, Gainax were at the top of their game. They produced Evangelion, FLCL, and Gurren Lagann. And yes, I know Eva wasn't fun, but it's where the boom started for the studio. Also, they produced 3 OVA episodes for the Cutie Honey franchise around the time of some live-action adaptation. But what is Cutie Honey? One of the oldest manga. It began in 1973 with many manga series, anime series, and OVAs. A weird live-action TV adaptation and a live-action movie. You may be wondering why so much media, but the franchise is actually really damn good in my humble old opinion. The plot is about an android called Honey. She was built to protect her city from the evils of Panther Claw, an organization bent on bending Tokyo to their will, led by the diabolical Sister Jill and her 4 generals in silly outfits, armed with cosplay powers. ある時は華麗なるバイクレーサー、ある時は勇気あるナース、またある時はバンダイの老婆、そしてまたある時はとぼけたアシスタントディレクター。 She teams up with a reporter and a detective to take down the organization in the most stupidly awesome ways possible. 天に星、地に花、人に愛を、愛の戦士、キューティーハニーさん。 Oh my. One thing I love about this series is that no one is flat out stupid. I mean, yes, Honey is a klutz, but she doesn't do stupid things. She uses her wit and powers to defeat her enemies, and I love every second of it. Also, my favourite form of Honey's has to be her main form, because sword, red hair, and best outfit in the show by far. Oh, and it's a magical girl show. Take that, Sailor Moon! Also, I don't know why, but red hair just works in anime. I also really like the side characters from Seiji to Natsuko. They're really funny and over the top and quite bizarre, but I'll get back to that later. The animation style of the series may remind you of another Gainax show. They were the perfect choice to animate this masterpiece.
Will it be a big bang?
Also, guess who the director was? Mr. Hideaki Anno, the guy behind Eva and that Godzilla movie. Watching the first episode, the animation reminded me of something familiar, so I looked it up, and the first episode was directed by Hiroyuki Imaishi. Turns out Anno was the overall director and not the individual episode director, I think. Anyway, what's familiar about the animation was that it reminded me of 2 shows. What were they? And... the comedy and the way the episode was animated did remind me a lot of Panty and Stockings and Kill la Kill, which was inspired by Cutie Honey. And I think Cutie Honey is a million times better than both of the 2 examples I just made. This show makes fighting villains and taking down evil organizations sexy. It doesn't try to have a plot twist that would make M. Night Shyamalan confused, or try to shout a message about clothes and nudity because aliens! Cutie Honey is stupid, sexy, and awesome, and it owns it. Hell, Honey recharges herself by eating food.
That is awesome, dude!
Another good point I'll throw at these OVAs is they are not repetitive at all. I know that the series is only 3 45-minute episodes, but the plot keeps moving without repeating itself. Every episode is different in some way, with Honey having to deal with different problems thrown at her. Funnily enough, another reason this show succeeds for me is it reminds me of another anime I love. I see these OVAs as the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with fan service. It's weird as hell with designs and stories that just feel like they come out of the 70s. The story may be full of cliches, but it was created when the cliches were being created, just like JoJo's. That's reflected the most in the opening, which is one of the best things about these OVAs. I truly believe that this is a perfect guilty pleasure anime. Some people may think the plot and characters are cliche. Well, these OVAs were an adaptation of a manga released in the 1970s. It was made at a time where there weren't cliches, but more new ideas were being applied to paper, and it fascinates me to see how they adapted it into the modern era. Well, by 2004 standards. Yeah, the story is dumb, but it's entertaining to me as it knows it's dumb and embraces it. Though a warning that this isn't your Pokemon series, this is an ecchi series as well as a magical girl show, so there are plenty of the boobs and the butts. This is a mature series, even if the humour isn't sometimes. Only real problem with the series is some of the humour. It truly does feel like a prequel to Panties and Stockings sometimes, but after the first episode they actually develop the characters and how they relate to each other. I should talk about the different versions of the franchise at some point. So the real question is Cutie Honey the best series from Gainax? No, that's gonna have to go to Fooly Cooly. I see these OVAs as guilty pleasures, even though I think they are actually pretty good. Good work, Gainax. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content from yours truly.